Hey everyone, ready to unlock some serious brain power?
Always up for that.
Well, in this deep dive, we're going to be talking all about becoming lifelong learners no matter how old you are.
Yeah.
We're going to be tackling some of those myths that hold us back.
Right.
Like, is it really too late to learn new stuff?
Exactly.
We'll dig into the amazing science behind how our brains actually thrive on learning.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll give you some real strategies you can use.
Practical stuff.
Yeah, to make learning a part of your life.
It's funny how many people think learning is just for kids.
Right.
Like once you're out of school, you're done.
You've learned everything.
Yeah. But we're here to bust that myth wide open.
Yeah.
We're going to show you how essential and rewarding it is to keep learning all throughout your life.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of us have felt that it's too late to learn something new kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But is that really true?
It's really not.
Or is it just a mental hurdle?
I think it's much more of a mental hurdle than anything else. That idea that our brains just become fixed after a certain age?
Yeah.
That's just not true at all.
Right.
Our brains are amazingly adaptable.
Right.
They're capable of changing throughout our entire lives.
So they're always evolving.
Always.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and this is what scientists call plasticity.
Okay.
And it's what allows us to learn new things, form new memories, adapt to new situations no matter what age we are.
So our brains are like ever-evolving landscapes, not some static structure.
Exactly.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
But, okay, even if our brains are up for the challenge, I think there's still that question of motivation.
Uh-huh.
Why even bother learning new things as adults?
Right.
It's so easy to get comfortable in our routines.
It is.
And think, hey, I'm good. Why rock the boat?
Sure, I get that. But the benefits of being a lifelong learner, they go way beyond just, adding something new to your resume.
Oh, yeah.
Think of it as a holistic investment in yourself.
Okay.
Learning keeps your mind sharp. It can boost your creativity, helps you adapt to change, and even reduces your risk of age-related cognitive decline.
Okay, so it's like a multivitamin for the brain.
That's a good way to put it.
It strengthens us on so many levels.
Exactly.
So it's not just about adding more information.
Right.
It's about maintaining our mental agility, staying engaged with the world around us.
Absolutely.
But there is a difference between how kids and adults learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like kids just seem to absorb information like sponges. Do we lose that as we get older?
Well, it's true that kids have this incredible capacity for absorbing new information so quickly, but adults actually bring some unique strengths to the table.
Okay.
We have a lifetime of experiences,
Right.
a deeper understanding of ourselves, and often a much stronger sense of purpose and motivation.
So it's not about comparing apples to oranges.
Right.
It's about recognizing that kids and adults, we both have our own advantages.
Yep.
Okay, so we adults, we just need to figure out how to harness those strengths.
Exactly.
But wouldn't you say motivation is key for us?
Absolutely crucial.
I mean, kids are often motivated by, external rewards like grades or pleasing their parents. But what keeps adults going?
It really comes down to tapping into that intrinsic motivation.
Okay.
That deep-seated desire to learn something for the pure joy of it. It's about connecting with your passions, finding subjects that spark your curiosity, and framing learning as an adventure, not a chore.
Right, like something you get to do.
Exactly.
Not have to do.
It should be exciting.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
But let's get practical here.
Okay.
How can we, as busy adults, set ourselves up for success as lifelong learners?
Yeah.
Where do we even begin?
Well, the first step is being really clear about what you want to achieve.
Okay.
What are your learning goals? Is it mastering a new language, learning to paint, understanding astrophysics? Getting specific about those goals, that's going to help you stay focused and motivated.
Okay, so before we even think about the how,
Right.
we need to define the why.
Exactly.
That's a great starting point.
Yeah.
But once we have that goal, how do we avoid getting overwhelmed?
That's where creating a smart learning plan comes in.
Okay, I've heard of SMART goals.
Yeah.
But what's a SMART learning plan?
It means breaking down that big goal into smaller steps that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound.
I love that framework. It takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
Makes the whole thing feel manageable.
Exactly.
But even with a plan, sometimes we just need a little extra support.
Of course.
What about those moments when we hit a roadblock or we just feel like giving up?
Yeah, those are tough.
What do we do?
Well, one of the most effective things you can do is find a learning buddy or join a group learning alongside others.
Yeah.
It creates the sense of community, accountability, and shared experience.
Like you're not alone.
Exactly.
You got people going through the same thing.
Exactly. And it's a great way to bounce ideas off each other and stay motivated.
Okay, so having a learning buddy or a mentor, it's like having a built-in cheerleader
That's a great way to put it.
to keep you going.
Yeah.
But what about those inevitable moments where we feel like we're getting worse at something
Yeah.
before we get better?
Right.
Is that normal?
Totally normal.
Okay.
It's called the U shape of learning.
Okay.
And it's something that pretty much everyone experiences when they're tackling a new skill.
So like those first steps a toddler takes,
Yeah.
they stumble and fall countless times
Exactly.
before they finally master walking.
Exactly. It's all part of the process.
Okay, so instead of getting discouraged when we hit those bumps in the road,
Yeah.
we should see them as signs that we're pushing ourselves
Absolutely.
and actually learning.
Yeah.
Are there any particular skills that tend to make adults feel inadequate even though they shouldn't?
Two that immediately come to mind are drawing and singing. So many adults believe they lack the talent for these things.
Right.
But the truth is, both of those skills are totally learnable with practice and the right approach.
Ah, the myth of talent strikes again.
Yeah.
So how can we reframe our thinking about these skills?
Well, let's start with drawing.
Oh.
Instead of focusing on creating a perfect representation of something,
Yeah.
try shifting your perspective.
Okay.
Think of it as learning to see the world through an artist's eyes. Learn to break down those complex images into simple shapes, lines, and values.
Okay. That's a really helpful shift in perspective.
Yeah,
It takes the pressure off perfection
exactly.
and allows us to focus on those fundamentals. Okay, and what about singing? Is everyone truly capable of carrying a tune?
With practice, absolutely.
Okay.
Singing is a skill just like any other. The more you use your voice, the stronger and more flexible it becomes.
Okay.
And beyond just, hitting the right notes, singing has incredible emotional and social benefits.
Oh, yeah?
It's a powerful mood booster, stress reliever,
Okay.
and a wonderful way to connect with others, especially in group settings.
I'm convinced. I'm adding both drawing and singing to my learning bucket list.
That's great.
But before we move on, I want to touch on something we mentioned earlier, that childlike curiosity.
Right.
How do we as adults recapture that sense of wonder
Yeah.
and openness to learning that we often lose as we get older?
That's the power of what's called the beginner's mind.
Okay.
It's about approaching learning with a sense of curiosity, humility, and a willingness to let go of those preconceived notions. It's about embracing those, moments and seeing them as opportunities for growth,
Yeah.
not threats to our egos.
That's easier said than done, right?
It can be.
As adults, we tend to get pretty attached to our ways of doing things.
Yeah, we get set in our ways for sure.
But think about how children approach problem solving.
Yeah, they're fearless.
They're not afraid to experiment, make mistakes,
Exactly.
and try different approaches until they find a solution.
They haven't developed those mental barriers yet
Right.
that often hold adults back.
So to recapture that beginner's mind,
Yeah,
we need to be willing to step outside our comfort zones,
definitely.
embrace those early clumsy stages of learning, and most importantly, not take ourselves too seriously.
Absolutely. Have fun with it.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about giving ourselves permission to play and explore again, to rediscover that joy of learning that comes so naturally to kids.
Exactly.
Okay, I think that's a great place to pause for now.
Sounds good.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
and in the next part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
we'll explore some practical tips and resources for adult learners.
Looking forward to it.
Stay tuned.
See you then. Welcome back, everyone, to our deep dive on lifelong learning.
Yeah, so we've talked about why it's important to keep learning and how our brains are actually wired for it. But one of the biggest challenges I think we face as adults is actually finding the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our lives are already so busy
They are.
between work, family, all our other commitments.
Right. How do you fit it all in?
Yeah, it can feel impossible to squeeze in time for learning something new.
I hear you on that. It's the classic time crunch dilemma.
Right.
But here's the thing. It's not about finding huge chunks of free time.
Okay.
It's really about those small, consistent efforts.
Oh, okay.
It's like building any other habit.
Yeah.
You don't need to run a marathon on day one.
Right.
You start with, maybe a few minutes each day and gradually build up your stamina.
So instead of waiting for that mythical block of free time to magically appear.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right, we should be looking for those smaller windows of opportunity.
Exactly.
That pop up throughout the day.
Think about your daily routine.
Okay.
Could you listen to a podcast during your commute?
Mm-hmm.
Read a few pages of a book during your lunch break?
Right.
Maybe practice a language app while you're waiting in line.
Yeah.
Even 10 or 15 minutes here and there really adds up.
It's like finding hidden treasure.
Yeah.
In our everyday lives.
Absolutely.
But okay, even when we do manage to carve out the time,
yeah,
sometimes our brains just feel full.
Right.
So how do we actually absorb and retain all this new information?
That's where understanding your learning style comes in.
Okay.
You know, we all process information differently.
Right.
Some people are visual learners, some are auditory learners, some learn best through hands-on experiences.
Yeah, so it's about figuring out what works for you.
Exactly.
And choosing methods that align with how your brain likes to learn.
Yeah, if you're a visual learner, you might focus on things like diagrams, charts, videos, mind maps.
Right. If you're more auditory, you might get more out of lectures, podcasts, audiobooks.
Exactly. And if you're a kinesthetic learner, you might benefit from hands-on activities, experiments, role-playing.
Right. So it's really about working smarter, not harder.
I love that.
But even when we find the right methods, we still need strategies for making that information stick.
Absolutely.
Do you have any tips for improving our ability to remember what we learn?
One of the most effective techniques is called spaced repetition.
Okay.
It's based on the idea that our brains are much more likely to remember something if we revisit it multiple times over spaced intervals.
So instead of cramming everything at once, we should space out our learning sessions.
Exactly.
And review the material periodically.
You got it. It's like giving your brain a chance to actually process the information, make connections, strengthen those neural pathways.
And the cool thing is there are tons of tools and techniques out there that can help us do this without having to keep track of everything manually.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what else can we do to boost our memory and really enhance our learning?
Another powerful technique is active recall.
Active recall.
Yeah, it basically means actively trying to retrieve information from memory.
Okay.
Instead of just passively reading or listening to it.
So instead of just highlighting passages in a textbook or rereading my notes, I should actually try to remember the information without looking.
Exactly. Give your brain a little workout.
That sounds challenging.
It is challenging, but that's where the real learning happens.
Okay.
The effort of retrieving that information helps solidify it in your brain.
So like testing myself with flashcards.
Yeah, flashcards are great.
Writing summaries from memory.
That's a good one.
Or even trying to explain the concept to someone else.
Perfect. The more you use it, the better you'll remember it.
It's like exercising a muscle.
Exactly.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
That's a great analogy.
But let's be honest, learning isn't always easy.
Oh, no.
There are times when we get frustrated, discouraged, or just plain bored.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do we stay motivated and keep pushing forward even when it's tough?
Well, this is where mindset comes in.
Okay.
Cultivating a growth mindset is so important for lifelong learning.
What's a growth mindset?
It's basically believing that your abilities aren't fixed. Okay?
But that they can be developed through effort, persistence, and a willingness to embrace challenges.
So instead of saying, I'm just not good at this, we should be saying, I'm not good at this yet.
Exactly, with an emphasis on the yet.
I love that.
It's about seeing challenges as opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
Not roadblocks.
And celebrating our progress along the way.
Absolutely, even the small wins.
Right.
Give yourself credit for the effort you're putting in.
Okay, so be your own cheerleader.
Exactly.
But even with the best mindset, we all need a little extra motivation sometimes.
We do.
What are some ways to make learning more fun and engaging?
One of the best things you can do is find a learning buddy.
Again.
Yeah. It's so important having someone to share the journey with, to bounce ideas off of, to hold you accountable.
Like we talked about earlier.
Exactly. It creates that sense of community and shared purpose.
Okay, but sometimes even with a buddy, we hit a wall. We feel stuck or like we're not making any progress.
Yeah. What do you do then? Yeah. How do we get unstuck?
One technique I find helpful is to shift perspectives.
Right.
If you're struggling with something, try approaching it from a different angle.
Okay.
Watch a video, listen to a podcast, read a book on the topic by a different expert.
So get out of our own heads. Seek out new perspectives.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
You know, try different learning methods, different resources, maybe even a change of scenery.
So shake things up a bit.
Exactly. Sometimes that's all it takes to get out of a rut.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
But let's wrap up this part of our conversation with a concrete example.
Sure.
We've been talking a lot about the theory of learning, but how does this all play out in the real world?
Okay, let's say you've always dreamed of learning to play the guitar, but you've been putting it off because you think you don't have the talent.
Yeah.
Well, the first step is to ditch that limiting belief.
Okay.
Talent is often way overstated.
Right.
What you really need is practice, persistence, and a willingness to learn.
So bust that myth of talent.
Yeah.
Then what?
Instead of getting overwhelmed by the idea of becoming a virtuoso overnight,
Right.
bring it down into smaller, more achievable goals.
Okay.
Maybe your first goal is to learn a simple chord progression or master a few basic strumming patterns. Start small and build from there.
Break it down into manageable chunks.
Exactly.
I like that.
Then find learning resources that resonate with your learning style. If you're a visual learner, you might look for video tutorials.
Right.
If you prefer hands-on learning, find a local teacher or join a group class.
Okay.
And of course, incorporate those techniques we talked about earlier.
Like spaced repetition and active recall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Review those chords, regularly test yourself with flashcards, maybe try to teach those chords to someone else.
Okay, so use it or lose it.
Yeah. And most importantly, have fun.
That's key.
Learning should be a joy, not a chore.
Right.
Choose a style of music you love, find a guitar that feels good in your hands, and just enjoy the process of making music.
Okay, you've officially inspired me to dust off my old guitar.
Awesome.
But before we all run off to become rock stars, let's shift gears a bit.
Sounds good.
And the final part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
we're going to explore how lifelong learning can boost your career, enhance your job security, and open up a world of new opportunities.
Looking forward to it.
Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to our deep dive into lifelong learning.
Back for more.
So we've talked about why it's important to keep learning, how our brains benefit.
Yeah, the personal side of things.
Exactly. But now let's talk about the practical stuff.
Okay.
How does all of this translate to success in our careers?
Yeah, that's a big one, right?
Yeah, because in today's world, things are changing so fast.
All the time.
The skills that were in demand a few years ago might be totally obsolete now. And the jobs of the future, they might require skills that haven't even been invented yet.
Exactly. It's like trying to hit a moving target.
Right. So how do we even keep up?
Yeah, how do we stay ahead of the curve and make sure our skills stay relevant? I think it comes down to adaptability and a real commitment to continuous learning.
So always be learning.
Always, think of your career as a journey, not a destination.
Okay, I like that.
To navigate that journey, you need to be constantly learning, growing, and evolving your skill set.
So instead of picturing our careers as a ladder we climb,
right,
it's more like navigating a winding path.
I like that.
With unexpected twists and turns along the way.
Exactly.
And to navigate those twists and turns, we need a diverse toolkit.
We do.
And a willingness to embrace new challenges.
Couldn't agree more. And the good news is that employers are starting to really recognize the value of lifelong learners.
Oh, that's good.
They see it as a sign of initiative adaptability, a commitment to professional growth.
So it's like a signal.
It is.
To potential employers that I'm invested in myself.
Yeah, if you're actively learning new skills, staying up to date on industry trends, that makes you a much more attractive candidate.
Okay, so it's not just about looking good on paper. It's about showing that I'm proactive.
Yeah.
I'm engaged. I'm not afraid to learn and grow.
Exactly. And in fact, a lot of companies now are actually offering professional development programs.
Oh, wow.
Workshops, even tuition reimbursement to encourage their employees to keep learning.
So it's a win-win.
Is.
For both the individual and the company.
Absolutely.
But beyond making us more marketable, how else can lifelong learning impact our careers?
Well, learning new skills can definitely open doors to promotions and advancement opportunities within your company.
Okay.
It can also give you the confidence and qualifications to make a career switch.
Oh, yeah.
If you're feeling stuck or want to try something new.
So it's not just about keeping our heads above water.
Right.
In our current jobs.
It's about creating possibilities, expanding our horizons.
It's about having the skills to pursue new opportunities that we're really excited about.
I love that. And in an age where automation and AI are changing everything, lifelong learning is even more crucial for job security.
That's something I think a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
They think if they just do their job well and keep their heads down, they'll be fine.
Right.
But that's not really the case anymore.
Not at all. The jobs of the future are going to look very different.
Yeah.
Some jobs are definitely going to become obsolete.
So how do we future-proof ourselves?
Well, the jobs that involve a lot of repetitive tasks, those are at the highest risk of being replaced.
Okay.
But the jobs that require creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, emotional intelligence, and adaptability, those are the skills that will always be in demand.
So those are the skills we need to focus on.
Exactly. Those are the skills that set humans apart from machines.
So lifelong learning is really about investing in our future.
It is.
Developing the skills that will make us valuable assets.
Yeah, no matter what the future holds.
And it's never too late to start.
Never.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired, but also a little overwhelmed.
I get it.
It's easy to say learn new skills, but where do we even begin?
Yeah, how do you know what to focus on?
Exactly.
Well, a good starting point is to just stay informed about industry trends.
Fair.
Read industry publications, attend conferences, listen to podcasts, network with people in your field.
So be curious.
Be curious.
Be observant.
Yes.
And be connected.
Exactly. And then take some time for self-reflection.
Okay.
What are your own strengths and interests? What are you naturally good at?
Right. What do I enjoy doing?
Yeah, what kind of work would give you a sense of purpose?
It's about finding that intersection.
Yeah.
Between my skills and my passions.
That's where the magic happens.
Okay. And once we have a better understanding of what's in demand
and
what we're interested in, then we can start exploring different learning options.
Exactly.
There are online courses, workshops, certifications, degree programs.
So many options.
Yeah, there's something out there for everyone.
Definitely.
Okay. But let's be realistic. Learning takes time, effort, and sometimes money.
Yeah, it does.
So how can we convince our employers to support our learning goals?
Right.
Especially if they don't already have professional development programs in place.
The key is to frame it as an investment, not an expense.
Okay.
When you talk to your employer about professional development, emphasize how the skills you'll learn will benefit the company.
Okay.
How will it improve your productivity, enhance your problem-solving abilities, allow you to take on new responsibilities?
Exactly. It's about showing that return on investment.
So connect the dots between my personal learning goals and the company's goals.
Exactly. And if your company doesn't have formal programs in place, don't be afraid to be proactive.
Okay.
You know, present a proposal. Outline your goals, the resources you need, and how it will benefit both you and the company.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
It shows initiative.
It does.
But what if you're in a job that doesn't offer much room for growth?
Yeah.
Or you're just ready for a complete career change?
How can lifelong learning help with that kind of transition?
Well, lifelong learning is the key to reinventing yourself.
Okay.
It gives you the tools to acquire the skills and knowledge you need to pursue a new path.
Even if it's in a completely different field.
Absolutely.
So it's never too late to switch gears.
Never too late.
Wow. That's encouraging.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Let's say someone is working in a field that's becoming increasingly automated.
Okay.
Like a data entry clerk. Instead of panicking, this person can proactively identify skills that will be in demand.
Okay.
As data management evolves.
Like what?
They could explore things like data analytics, data visualization, even data science.
So instead of just inputting data, they could learn how to analyze it, interpret it, use it to make strategic decisions.
And they could become a valuable asset to their company by leveraging those new skills. Or they could pursue opportunities in a completely different field.
Oh, it's about adapting to change and thriving in a world that's constantly evolving.
Exactly. And the beauty of it is that it's never too late to start.
That's the message I'm taking away from this whole conversation.
I love that.
Lifelong learning isn't just about personal enrichment. It's about navigating this ever-changing world. Creating a more fulfilling, secure, and adaptable future for ourselves.
And remember, the journey of learning is just as important as the destination.
That's so true.
Embrace those aha moments, the challenges, the frustrations.
It's all part of the process.
It is.
So what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
It's that one skill you've always wanted to learn.
Choose it, break it down to smaller steps, and dive in.
You never know what amazing things you might discover about yourself along the way.
That's the best part.
This has been The Deep Dive.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll catch you on our next adventure into the world of knowledge and discovery. Happy learning, everyone.